Oh, no, he's there. He's there. Oh, fish.
Okay. Welcome to another Early Bird Adventures. In this one, I'm going to break down my most recent trip to fall fish for the Staging Kings down in Lake Michigan. And we're going to go over some of the main baits and tips and tactics that worked best for me for my week. Now, my other buddies had some other tactics that worked for them, but I can just go off mainly what worked for me. So, at the start of the week, we were fishing out of Racine, and there wasn't a ton of fish. We ended up moving to a different port, and that's where we found some fish. And like the first part of the week, I started getting hits on a bait that I don't think they fully make anymore ever since Reef Runners got bought out. But this Reef Runner, it's called Lucky Larry, but this is obviously, you can see like dark blue dots versus what it looks like their newer ones are getting made. This is technically their newer Lucky Larry. You see how it has like lighter purple dots. And looking at it closer, this one seems to have a lot more like speckles and stuff in it. Now that might have just been the batch, that might have been something else, because I know my other buddies also have this same Lucky Larry stick bait, but mine seems to produce more than most. And you sometimes get that. You could buy the same lure for the same thing, and you get some lures that stick catches fish. I'm actually a little worried because this one's getting really beat up after a couple of years of hard use. You know, I can start seeing some of the wood there, the teeth marks, dents in it. I don't know if you can see that really. But it's going to be a sad day when I can't run this anymore, because this is one of my luckier baits over the last couple of years of trying to do this. And I know I normally fish Lake Superior, but this has been a fun trip that me and my kayak buddies go do every year. The only thing I'll say with Reef Runners, and I fight with my buddies about this all the time, it's not that I don't believe Reef Runners catch fish. I just feel like Reef Runners have a very good tendency to easily get out of tune, and I spend a lot of time retuning these suckers, especially when you're fighting big games. So these are very good baits, but there's a reason they're a little cheaper than some of the other stick baits out there, and I feel like some of that has to do with how this line connection happens. Now, they've been putting split rings on the line connections. It has helped greatly, but I still feel like somehow whatever they use there, these suckers get out of tune very easy. The only other Reef Runner that really took a hit for me was this one right here, and I can't remember if it's called Barbie. I think I was calling it Purple Wonder Bread, but I don't think that's actually what it's called now that I think about it. Again, there's some sparkles in the paint, purple and white. The reason I threw this on was someone was getting them on one called Beetlejuice. Has basically kind of similar white, purple head, green tail. So that caught some fish for me. And then it seemed like Reef Runners kind of went dead for me. And I ended up switching to a few mag lips that were working for me. I had a couple double headers on this 4.0 mag lip. This one's called Cream Puff, and I actually had this on a snap weight, so it was down a little deeper, because I did run another one. Oop, not that one. I did run another one on this one, which is called Luminous Chartreuse Zebra. Now this has glow paint on it, this does not. This is just like a pearlescent white. Not necessarily, I would say, called shiny, but it does have a little shimmer to it. And the double header came literally right at dusk. I think it was a half hour after sunset, like you're barely getting the last little shimmers of light as, you know, before it becomes true dark with stars and everything like that. But this one took a very big fish on a double header, and so did this one. Now this one was just straight back. I was running this anywhere from 45 to about 85 back. It seemed like that 60 foot, 65 feet back was the ticket for this, just running dead sticking. This caught a lot of fish. And like I said, this one I was normally running with a snap weight combo, and I'll show you how I set up my snap weights. But basically I have pretty much like, you know, I just kind of go like this from here to the other side of my chest. It should be about, you know, 4 feet-ish by the time you do all the knots and everything. So I do about 4 feet, and then I put a little bead chain with a little sliding bead on going to the main line. So that way when the snap weight releases, it just slides down to this 4-foot leader. And then technically what I do different is I end up putting 24 feet of mono behind that 4-foot leader. And that's mainly because I feel like the mono works better with the pinch pad. Not that braid doesn't work, I just feel more comfortable with running out 20 feet of mono and clipping the pinch pad to it. I also like doing that because it just gives the line that little bit extra stretch. It doesn't matter as much for these because we're fishing a lot shallower, so I'm not using like 8 or 12 ounces like I do in the summer. But I just feel like it helps alleviate some of the stress from that hit, that initial hit. I just like that little extra stretch in the mono. Helps that orange release off the line easier so it can slide down. But that is a personal preference. It's not necessarily necessary. I just like some of these fish just hit so hard, so aggressive. I like that little extra shock absorption. It's just like when you're in your big boat and you use, you know, Dreamweaver ripcord or a Lure Jensen, you know, stretchy leader. So, like I said, Cream Puff 4.0 mag lip, which is kind of specific, and the 4.0 luminescent chartreuse zebra were very hot. I did not get hit on any other of the 4.0 mag lips. Usually in the past I've had some hits on this one, which is called Thumper. Pink, dark green with some black spots. You can see how the paint's missing right up here in the lip. That caught quite a few kings for me. I will say on the mag lips, it seems like the metallic-y painted ones, the ones that are meant to look shiny and silver, seem to hold up some of the paint. Sometimes, you know, I'm assuming it's how they chrome it. Some of that seems to hold up a little less than the true painted ones. But these stick baits like never go out of tune. They are literally designed for salmon and trout fishing. I have fallen very much in love with mag lips, and I have more than I probably need now. The second half of my week for me though, the top producer was a 3.5 mag lip, and this is called Glow Dill Pickle. This probably caught 15 kings for me in the span of like 3 days, maybe 4. And the ticket for this was running this with a 4-ounce snap weight and running it about 28 to 30 feet down. I did have some hits up higher in the like dark, like as soon as we got out there, but once that sun came up, if it was 28 to 30 feet down, this sucker smoked them. And I think you've been noticing too, this is how mag lips normally come. So you see how a mag lip comes, you got this dual lock snap on the line tie, which I think helps with keeping these things in tune and having them run better. And then also you see it has 2 treble hooks. Alright? For the most part, when it comes to the bigger mag lips, the 3.5s and up, I like to take that front hook off for a couple different reasons. One, the fish we're going for, especially in the fall here, You get a lot of bucks that have that kite jaw, and I just feel like if you have that second hook, you sometimes get leverage issues where they can leverage that back hook out and then you're only stuck on the front hook, or vice versa. And sometimes what if the one you leveraged out was the good hook you had in them? So I kind of just take that away, so I only have one hook, kind of run these similar to a spoon. And the other reason is, like I said, like I was fishing these pretty close to bottom, and so if you have a line tie, because it's going to swim kind of like this in the water, technically what ends up happening is, say you tick bottom, what's going to happen is this lip's going to get hit and that back hook's going to get pushed up, and then it'll go right back to swimming. It doesn't completely alleviate snags, but it does help, I feel, versus if I had this bottom hook. You'll see how it's kind of dangling there. So the lip might hook, but these are a lot closer versus the back hooks are up here. Again, this is more a personal preference versus actual like, oh, you can only run them this way. The nice thing about these mag lips too, unlike some of the other ones where I would say if you're upgrading hooks, you kind of ruin some of the action. A lot of stick baits, especially Rapalas and Berkeley flicker shads, they are very finely tuned. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're all good baits, but you know, you listen to, especially like if they're trying to advertise or whatever, you know, they spent all this time on research and development, and those stick baits are tuned for a certain amount of weight to be handled off them. So if you add a bunch of bigger, heavier hardware, it kind of throws the weight off and you kind of ruin the action that that bait's trying to achieve. So you can't just go flip-flopping baits. Well, the one nice thing about these mag lips is they are designed to handle a lot more weight. They're designed for bigger hooks. Like in all reality, like that's the stock hook on the mag lip. Like they're designed with size 2x strong, heavy hooks. These 3.5s, I think technically just have the normal 2 eagle claws, but I can throw because the way their lip's designed is it doesn't really take into account extra weight on the bait. So they're designed to handle that weight because they're also designed to function at greater speed range than most stick baits. So these are designed to be able to go as low as 1 mile per hour. They technically pick up that skip beat action at 1.4 miles per hour, and then they control as fast as like 4.5, 5 miles per hour. And that's because they're designed more by like West Coast guys, so they have a lot of tidal flats, and so they're dealing with a lot of extra current and other stuff. So sometimes they need stick baits to or plugs to run at a very wide range of speed. So it's one of the reasons why I like these baits. And like I said, this 3.5, and I don't know, so you can see this is a 4.0 glow dill picker versus a 3.5. I don't know if you can see how much, technically lengthwise it's not a lot of bigger, but like there's a lot more mass to the bait. So I think they just like that little bit smaller profile and they just wanted it down deeper close to bottom. So anyways, but yes, glow dill pickle was by far the hottest bait for the week. And the other thing I wanted to mention is I just kind of recently got these boxes from Fish USA, but these Timor boxes are really nice. You got a nice foam case. You can hold all of these suckers individually. The only downside is you kind of got to pick a certain size. So like that's the 4.0 one, and I have a 3.0 one. I'm probably going to end up getting, so like this is the 3.0 one. So you can see, nice foam. Every single stick bait's in their own individual little box there. But I think that's it. Let me know if you guys have any, oh, I forgot. So you can see here, so I was going to talk about my rod setup. So I have an 8-foot, which they don't make this rod anymore, but the Okuma White Diamond series is pretty much the same rod. But this is the 8-foot Okuma cold water rod, and it's a medium action. I like these rods. One, They have a very moderate to moderate slow action, so the whole rod just loads up really nice. And I like the medium one. Just gives me a little extra give when you have these big fish making big runs and big head shakes. And basically, like you can see here, I have mono leader. Like I said, I have 24 feet. And then I have, ooh, it's tangled here. So you can see here, I got that little plastic, I think it's a size 8mm bead. So I can run the snap weight. And then this is just a VMC roller bearing swivel. Help with line twists. And it's down to a VMC crankbait snap. So, like I said, I got 24 feet and I got like about a 3 to 4 foot leader there. And basically what it comes down to is then I got snap weight. Now this is one of the smaller ones because I just wanted to show you, but this is a torpedo weight, and you can see how I got just like a split ring here. I got a little bead chain here with a little swivel, and then all I have is just a simple swivel here, another bead chain up to an orange pinch pad. So basically what I'll end up doing, I'm just going to do it on here. So you just snap it on here, snap the pinch pad here, once I obviously let it out to my desired length, and then technically I would let out whatever amount of line for whatever snap weight I want to whatever desired depth I want to get. And then technically this pinch pad, when the fish hits, will technically pop out, and this will slide down to this bead right here. That way I don't have to worry about in my kayak trying to take off the snap weight, and I don't have to worry about the snap weight hitting the fish in the face. So it's just a nice simple solution to get stuff down deeper than what some of these stick baits are running, and get it in front of the fish's mouth without being in the way. So I hope you liked the video. If you have any questions, please leave comments down below. I will more than gladly talk to you guys about gear, tactics, whatever. But hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much.